Over the past few years, I've dropped over $3,000 on sports cards. Some of it was worth it, but most was not. But here's at least what I have learned to help you guys out, and at least so you don't make the same mistakes that I did in the past. And my quick backstory on how I got here, if you're watching, just found this channel for the first time, or you're watching again, just give you a recap. I collected when I was 10 years old, 9 years old, 8 years old, 8 years old, back in the 80s and 90s. And then kind of went to college, didn't really collect too much until like after COVID, really. So maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, I really got back into collecting and then starting to make like a YouTube channel, pretty cool thing to do and help you guys out and what I have learned. But, you know, when I was looking at this and how I got into cards, cards were just when I was in the 80s and 90s and in the early 2000s, I was just getting cards to find Bo Jackson, find Griffey, find Greg Maddux, find other cards that I was really into. And I didn't really care about the prices or how much money they're worth or even the prices of actual the hanger packs and things like that. And why I started spending real money on it was because my kids were really into it, and I went into Wawa where I live. There's a lot of Wawas, and I went to Wawa and got a hanger pack of a basketball. I even forget what kind of basketball it was, and I opened it up with my son, and we looked at it and we went through it, and there was an autograph in there. I'm like, what? There's autographs in card packs now, and that was probably about 10 years ago, and I didn't know that, and that kind of got the fuel going and the curiosity, I guess, going, and then I started getting nostalgia and bringing back nostalgia, and now I'm like, okay, well, now I can do it with my kids and things like that. So I spent a lot of money then on these hanger packs, some hobby boxes, grading. I had some early wins. I pulled like a Otani out of 25. I graded that, didn't come back that well. I sent that in the previous videos a bazillion times if you guys heard that. I sent CJ Strouds in. I sent some Bryce Harpers and another Otani in and things like that before I kind of knew what the grading process was. If you haven't watched our grading videos, I've made maybe two or three a few weeks ago that goes over the grading issues and things like that we have seen on this channel and me personally and other collectors personally as well. And the main part about this channel is to hopefully help people out into understanding the hobby and the behind the scenes things that are behind the hobby that not everybody talks about and things like that. And my early emotional wins was like I pulled some cards that I always wanted to when I was a kid that never got to pull, like that Bo Jackson. He has like the shoulder pads on. It's like a black and white image. I always wanted that when I was a kid, never pulled it, and then I eventually got it as a single. After I understood to go after singles, because when I first started doing this, I was getting blaster boxes from Walmart, blaster boxes from Target. I didn't know when things were restocking. I just went in there, and that leads you to my insider part, right? If you want to know the latest restocks and things like that, comment insider. I'll send you guys a link, and then you can access our email, and we'll send you a monthly email, and it'll give you like all the release dates, when card shows are and things like that. So comment insider, be a very easy thing to do. There's no strings attached, no money or anything like that. And I just want to kind of compile a list to help you guys understand where things are at, because it's so hard to find on the internet where all these things are at. And that kind of leads you back into what I was doing when I was a kid. I mean, there wasn't blaster boxes when I was a kid. There was just packs and things like that. That's what we used to get. We used to go to 7-Eleven. We used to go to just some local smaller hobby shops and paintball shops. We would get our CO2s refilled and we would get a pack of cards, or get 500 paintballs and then get a pack of cards at the same time. So like we had some extra money left over, and that's the cards we would try to get. I collected a lot of hockey and a lot of baseball, not really much football or not much basketball. And now I kind of collect more baseball and hockey as well and some football. And it's a cool thing. It's a cool thing that at least I do with my family, and that's the whole reason why I'm doing it, is because I want to do it with my family and do it with my kids and things like that. So I mean, it started innocent. When I got back into it, a $20 blaster here, a rip with my kid there. Getting the Easter egg and opening up that and things like that. Not really Easter egg, but like, before they started coming out. And then I started chasing hits. I started like checking comps. I started like grading everything and things like that. And looking back on now, I'm like, what the heck was I even doing? and I wasted so much money doing this stuff, and that kind of leads me into like, where did my money go? And even 5 minutes into this video, I mean, where did my money go with when I was spending it after COVID? Because as COVID hit, you know, the sports card hobby went crazy, and it was like 2020, 2021. That was just a crazy fueling of the market when people were just sitting home having stimulus checks. The prices were not really that bad compared to now, and there were just people were buying stuff all over the place, and you couldn't find them, couldn't go in the stores, all different kind of stuff. And now it's a lot different, thankfully. But like, I started getting into hobby, and I'm like, I didn't buy like the $500 hobby boxes, but I kind of bought like maybe like the Tops 2022 hobby box or Tops 2021 hobby box was like $100. And I didn't really get nothing with those things. I'm like, what the heck am I buying hobby boxes for? But obviously the Tops ones aren't that great compared to like Cosmic Chrome and like the Tops Chrome and like stuff like that. But I mean, I started doing that and then went more towards retail, buying a lot of blaster boxes. For what reason? Getting 95% 95% base cards, and maybe 5 parallels in the entire thing. So I mean, it really, looking back, it wasn't worth it as I know now. And I don't want you to go through that same route and waste $3,000 or more, because you can spend way more than that. I mean, that's on the low end of hobby collectors, right? You can spend way more than that, especially now with the non-nurse optics are $35 for a thing after taxes is $40. You're 3 boxes in, you're $120. And that's $3,000 can go away like that. So you have to be smart with your money, and you have to be smart with what you want to buy and what you want to collect as well. And that leads me into my next segment in a second, right? But like grading fees, grading fees. I did a couple cars that I spent $40 on, for grading fees. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then the car is not even worth that much money, and just wasting money when I'm doing that stuff. And I just, looking back on now, it's like, what were you doing? And like being a Sunday morning or Monday morning quarterback, obviously, right? But when you're in the moment, it's hard to see that. So hopefully, if you're watching this video, I can hopefully red pill you a little bit and open your eyes up, and concentrate on certain things I'm going to get into later in the video. There weren't many breaks that I got into back in like 2020, 2019, 2018 when I first got back into it, right? But you have now a lot of breakers, and I watch a lot. I don't get in a lot. I know some of you do get in a lot, and you make some good money, or you get some good cards, and you don't spend that much money, $20, $30, compared to spending like $200 or $300 for a hobby box. And that's a good thing. But I just don't see the feasibility of me just watching somebody open up packs on the internet and me not actually doing it. I mean, you still get that that dopamine effect, and you still see that, but doing it yourself and having your kids with you do it. And that's the whole reason why that I do it. So I don't really get into much breaks. But a lot of people have lost a lot of money doing breaks, because now there's even fees to even get into the break before you even pay the person to get into the break. So there's a lot of fees that are going along in the back door that you might not even realize if you want to get into your first breaks. You have to watch that. There was a lot of storage, a lot of supplies, a lot of shipping that was going on. And like, I tried to sell a couple cars maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. And, being a teacher and having a full-time job, that was very hard for me to do. Sometimes in the summer, I'll put some up on eBay that have the cars that I got that maybe I don't want to keep in my personal collection. I can get some money funded back in there and maybe hopefully buy, some more blaster boxes or whatever it is. But I don't really get into that too much. I know you guys do a lot, and that's great. And you have card shops and stuff like that, and that's great. I just don't have, like, my full-time job is teaching. I just don't have a lot of time to do that and making videos on top of that. So, I mean, my experience isn't with the selling more, but just like about hopefully to save you money so you don't have to spend, $3,000 and waste $300,000 or more, maybe like $3,300 by now, right? That I have spent over the last 3 years on these things that, have I made my money back? Not even close. But I wasn't really that smart with my money when I was doing it too. So I mean, there are two sides to the coin when you're getting into that. So I mean, you could have these big grading fees. You can have a lot of money spent on wax, and you can have not hit a single kaboom. For example, so like things like that, you have to keep on looking at. Okay, what are in these packs? You have to research, and that kind of goes into like what I regret. Like, what do I regret when I was doing this? Looking back on this 3 years ago, I mean, the lessons learned that I hit, right, is I like chased. I tried. I don't know. Kind of like I'm OCD, right? I want to get all the products. I want to get all the blaster boxes. I want to get like all the blaster boxes and have like maybe two or three blaster boxes for each one, like the Panini Prism, the Big League Baseball, the Celebration, the Top Series 1, Top Series 2, Top Update, Topps Chrome Update, Topps Chrome whatever, and I can go on and on and on forever and ever and ever. And I want to get all of them. Where I think it's better, I know it's better to concentrate on maybe like one or two sets and try to complete them and try to see if you can complete those sets of the stars of the game or complete all the sets of like, whatever that are these different parallels or different inserts in these packs, right? And I just chase the wrong products. I chase Big League Baseball a lot, and Big League Baseball is you're not going to be worth, most of those cards are worth nothing in Big League Baseball unless you're getting like the drip Otani from like, a few years ago and things like that. So, I mean, they're not worth it that much to chase all these products. You have to kind of zero in on maybe like one or two that you really like, that you really can try to find easily instead of paying overpriced for them. I made a video, and I'll link it in the end of our video, a video on the Donruss optics where you can't. I mean, I can't find them anywhere. Some of you have found them some different places, and that's great. I just in my area, I just can't find them anywhere. I have been to countless number of Targets, countless number of WalMarts, GameStops, whatever, and I'm not paying over retail price. So I'm paying $34 plus tax for those blaster boxes. I'm not paying a dime over that. I refuse to do that. So hopefully you're in the same boat. And I did not do it before. I still have the Donruss optics from last year that I paid $60 or $70 for that blaster box, and it's just sitting on my desk because I haven't opened it yet. Because I'm, well, should I open it? Should I not open it? What should I do? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like, I don't even get into that so far. So that's like a big thing that I kind of regret, that I chased the wrong products, but I also followed hype instead of researching. Um, Following hype on the optics. The optics are usually hot at first, especially when they first come out. Like some of you guys have said before in the comments, when they're first dropping that first like wave, they're really really hot if you can find them. But as the summer goes along, maybe you can find them in the stores, but I think they get less and less and less, and that makes sense because you're trying to get all the Don Russ or who Tops or whoever, they're trying to get all these people into these things and get the demand up and the hype up and the FOMO up, and then all of a sudden they start letting out less product and things like that. So that's like a scheme that they like try to do behind the scenes to keep collectors into it, keep the demand high, and so on and so forth, right? Sometimes I have brought in the breaks that I did not understand, and I didn't understand that they had fees behind the breaks. I had to pay $20 to get into this person's break, and then pay another $20 or $30 on top of that for the Phillies or for the Braves or whoever that could be. And I did not know that. And then I get cards back that are nothing. I like not even worth 50 cents. So you have to watch out who you're getting breaked into or who you're breaking with, and know who they are and what kind of boxes are they pulling. Sometimes behind the scenes, breakers, they open boxes and they get the case hit, and then they put them to the side, and then they sell the rest and they do breaks for the rest, and there's not much in there. So I mean, you have to watch. I just get leery. I always said to you guys back and forth in the comments that I just get leery on breaks and people opening stuff behind the camera, behind the scenes. I just I don't trust a lot of people when that happens, and I don't want to spend hundreds of dollars and then get nothing and just be throwing my money out into the trash can. So that's just me. But I mean, before I have done that and gotten the breaks that I didn't know who they were, I'm like, oh, this is a great price. Get in there and I get nothing. So I mean, you have to watch what you're doing. Slab cards that I've got graded weren't worth anything. I went, weeks ago about the Otani one that I sent in. I sent in an Otani Big League Baseball. Looking back now, why are you grading Big League Baseball? I have no idea, right? So like things like that, I'm learning as I get better and better and better and more well versed in the community and more well versed in the hobby, that maybe I knew when I was back in like 13, 14, 15 years old, and then took that 20-year time off, and now I'm back into it, and hopefully learning more and hopefully sharing my expertise with you guys so you don't make the same mistakes that I do. The worst feeling, I mean, is paying. The worst feeling is paying $50 to grade a $6 card, and it comes back as a PSA 8, like what happened to me. Right? It'll be $50 to pay for that Otani card, comes back as a PSA 8, and what is that card worth now? I mean, haven't seen any on eBay. It's like a black Otani, out of 25 for Big League Baseball from 2023, and it may be worth $20 now. So it's a waste of money. So I mean, I wasn't going to sell it, so I was going to keep it in my collection anyway. And I do have some graded cards in my collection that I keep, but mostly they're just just raw cards that I have in my collection. Which is fine because if you keep them in good condition, you can always get them graded later if they give you better deals or things like that. But necessarily me, I'm not really going to grade things. So now what do I do differently? What do I do differently than what did I learn from the past? You know, I stick to collecting what I love. I really love opening. I mean, I love opening the optics, the Donruss optics, but I can never find them. So I love doing that because they're a good pack to open. The cards are looking pretty cool. I really love opening up that. I like the Panini Prism for baseball, even though they're not licensed and they don't have like their jersey, like their, you get a Paul Skeens, it has his name Pittsburgh on there, right? But I do like they give you a lot of parallels in those packs. They give you some numbers in those packs in those blaster boxes. Sometimes they get two or three numbers in the blaster boxes. Sometimes they're lower cards, like a ninth batter or a person that's in the minor leagues or things like that, which is fine. But I do like opening up those packs because I feel like they're the $25 I spend. You could get maybe $20, $15 back if you were to sell them, which I'm really not. But you could get some of those back, right? I like the Panini Prisms. I like what else do I like? I like the tops update at the end of the season when they get like the holiday parallels and things like that. I do like opening up the tops. I like the Easter eggs. My daughter loves Easter eggs. Even though there's like 95% base cards, I think they have 55 cards in there, and 50 of them are base cards. But I mean, I like the green like egg variation in the back. I like the different pastel colors for the Easter theme. So I like how they're doing that, which is cool. But I mean, as they do more and more of that, what's happening to the card markets? I mean, you know, we have to kind of see that in the future. But I mean, I do like looking at that stuff. I like opening up racing cards because I like getting like Dale Earnhardt Jr. I always say in my videos would do it for Dale, right? But Dale Jr., his son, I like opening up racing and things like that because I was big on racing when I was a kid. We used to go to Daytona 500 all the time. And we saw in 1998, we saw when Earnhardt was there and he won. So that was like an awesome experience when I was there, back when I was a junior in high school and a senior in high school. So that was really neat to do. And I always liked racing and like watching racing. My daughter loves like racing, like Mario Kart, and we have a go kart, and she drives that all around and stuff like that too. And she wants to be a race car driver when she gets older. We did like a video on Instagram and TikTok, and there's like a rain delay for the Daytona 500, and she wanted to get in her go kart and let me to ask her questions about, okay, why is there a rain delay? What are you doing during the rain delay? Because that's what the drivers are doing. So that was pretty cool to see, and we did a video on that, and we actually tagged Dale Jr. or like Dirty Mo Media, that we tagged in there, and he actually commented back to her. So that was pretty cool to see. So that was neat. But like little things like that, stick what you love and what you love doing, and that's the main thing. You can like somebody can tell you, oh, those cards stink. But guess what? If you love those cards, who cares, right? This is your collection, not nobody else's collection. This is your collection for you and for you to pass down to generation upon generation upon generation. And that's all your thing, right? Who cares what anybody else thinks? Oh, you got all base cards. Yeah, who cares? But guess what? I got some pretty cool base cards, and I don't really care about the price values. I got Otanis, I got Skeens, I got Ellie De La Cruzes. I got all the different kind of ones that I can save from my collection and pass down to my kids, and they can see what I love too. So that's the main thing. Another thing I kind of learned and what I do differently is research before ripping. Okay, what packs am I going to get? What should I expect? Which ones have good packs, good odds, or better odds? I did an odd video last week, right? So which ones are better? What packs have the chances for me to get maybe an autograph, maybe a memorabilia card, or different parallels, inserts, so on and so forth. So research, due diligence is your big thing. So make sure that you do your due diligence so you can help you understand what you're going to open for that pack and if it's worth it or not. Grade less, grade less, or if you are grading, grade more carefully. Make sure you inspect your cards. Make sure you look at the corners. Get like the magnifying glass. Get your zoom in lens on your phone and zoom up on those corners, right? And make sure there's no scratches in your card and things like that. That really helps because, I kind of did that, but I mean, sometimes the grading's iffy as well. We talk about that in past videos too. But make sure that you look at cards and you can understand, okay, what are they grading? What are they looking at? What are they looking at? The bentness of the card, looking at the scratches on the surface. How's the surface look? The centering of the card. Are they looking at the corners? So a lot of things you can look at. Okay, well, everything looks great. Okay, maybe it is worth it to send it in. Maybe I can get a PSA 9.5 or a 10 or things like that. Or who do I want to use? Do I want to use PSA? Do I want to use tag? Do I want to use AI to help them grade and things like that? Um, is it more like just looking at it and understanding it, or is it more like, okay, are there people, and it depends on if the person has a bad day, are they grading good? Person has a good day, are they grading better, or things like that. So you have to watch on who you want to use, but it's very important to grade less, I believe. But if you do want to grade, make sure that you do your research. And the last thing I want to leave you with is enjoy the hobby. I'm 20 minutes here. I know I kind of ramble. I'm sorry, but I hope you appreciate, my candidness and my straightforward. I don't cut videos. I don't want to cut videos. I want you to see how I feel, and I want you to see, what I do, and hopefully bring that passion with you guys. Because you see a lot of videos YouTube, and they're cut here, cut there, cut there. I just like letting it run, like almost like a podcast. Well, I'm not really talking to anybody, right? But almost like a podcast, and hopefully I can, bring you guys into the collecting field, and hopefully inform you of the things that I did in the past, and hopefully not into the future, right? I'm sure I'll make more bad mistakes in the future, but hopefully I'm trying to be a little bit more smarter with my money. But enjoy the hobby again. Don't treat it like a scratch off, right? We always call scratch offs here in my family rip offs, because when's the last time you were going to win money on a scratch off? More than like $10, $20, right? So enjoy it. I mean, if you're enjoying it and you're just ripping cards and you're having fun and you're not wasting too much money, that's the whole point of doing this hobby. That's the whole point of why I got back into the hobby with my kids, is to understand and enjoy it, and enjoy the community and enjoy the nostalgia, build nostalgia for my kids, and they can do the exact same thing when they have kids and grandkids and so on and so forth. And hopefully it starts with me. So I mean, that's the main thing, right? But now I rip for fun, and I chase nostalgia, and I only grade cards that actually really, really mean something to me. And that's why the main thing that I wanted to kind of leave you guys, right? And so yeah, $3,000 is gone, but I learned a lot. I think at least I've learned a lot. And honestly, I'm still in it for the love of the game. And hopefully by watching this video, you don't do the same exact thing that I did. And hopefully you learned and research and do your due diligence. And hopefully you can spend not too much money like I did, save your money, and get cars that you actually want to go after and research and understand what's the main thing you want to get into. So other than that, I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully let me know what you think in the comments. What did you learn? If you're just getting started, maybe this video saves you a few $100, and that's my goal for this video. So I appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully you guys had a great Easter, because I'm doing this on Easter, but sending it out on Monday, obviously. So hopefully you guys had a great holiday, a great Easter with the family, and we appreciate you guys watching all the time. Make sure you guys comment Insider if you want to get in the Insider Club, and I'll end my video again as Do It for Dale. Peace out.